right, lately there's been a lot of people buying guns for the first time. They are first-time gun buyers. First off, congratulations, folks. You have taken the first, or rather the next step in being your own self-protector, and I congratulate you for that. That's a fantastic step. Well done. Second off, we need to talk about how to manage that firearm you just bought. Probably the gun that you just bought is a handgun. If it's your first gun, you probably didn't buy a rifle, it's probably a handgun. So we need to talk about that. There are some rules that we need to follow. No matter what you do with it, you always need to follow these rules. Number one is treat all guns as if they're loaded all the time. There's no times to not treat the gun as if it's loaded. So all guns are loaded all the time. Number two, you never ever point that gun at something you're not willing to destroy. So people, animals, houses, whatever that may be. And we're never looking down the barrel of a gun, never ever. Okay, you never ever point that at something you're not willing to destroy. Because remember, number one, all guns are loaded all the time. We're going to treat them like that. So number three, you need to keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Movies, you watch movies, they're horrible about this. They always have their finger inside that trigger guard. So this is my gun, and I never put my finger on the trigger until I'm ready to fire. What you need to do is keep that trigger finger up high. Keep it up high, that way it doesn't slide in there. Okay? Never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to actually fire that gun. Keep it off. Number four is know your target and what's behind it. If this is my target, this is what I'm shooting at, and if I am in the process of doing some practice, I need to make sure I know what my target is and what's behind it. And if I'm out here in the field, a pistol round is not going to go hundreds of yards if I'm pointing in a level position. So know your target and what's behind it. If you got that gun so you can protect yourself in a violent encounter, you need to make sure you have a way to identify targets. That might be with a flashlight. Okay? A lot of things happen at night. Make sure you can identify that target before you put that muzzle in that direction. So those are the four basic firearm rules. I would learn those, know them well enough that you can just memorize them and be able to tell somebody else. So the next thing, if you're a first-time gun buyer, so you just bought a gun, and my mind works in analogies. So my mind is saying the gun is like buying a car for the first time. It can do a lot of damage. It can do a lot of good. Okay? So you just bought a gun or a car. Now you bought it probably because you said there's a chance I may have to protect myself or my loved ones in a violent encounter. So a violent encounter, in my thinking, is like the Indy 500 as far as the risk goes in a shooting situation. Okay, so going in the range, pretty low risk if you're going safely with safe people. But in a violent encounter where you have to use a firearm, that's as risky as it gets. So my mind says, if you just bought a gun, it's like buying a car, and if you bought it so that you can defend yourself in a risky, violent encounter, that's like saying I'm going to the Indy 500. Now, no one in their right mind would buy a car and then go race in the Indy 500. You would want years of training and years of practice. So my recommendation is I would seek out a training class and I would go get trained on how to use that firearm in a safe and effective manner. There's a lot of companies doing training. There's a lot of great companies where you will learn a lot of stuff. I am not an expert. I've done a lot of training and I've done a lot of shooting, but I still do not consider myself an expert. Go get trained by an expert. Get trained how to use your firearm safe and effectively. So thanks so much for being part of the community that says, hey, I'm going to be myself protector. I'm going to protect myself, because we all know that if you dial 911, they probably won't get there in enough time to stop that violent encounter. Where if you're your own protector, you have a chance to stop that. Thanks for watching, folks. We're going to continue on this line of thinking, and we're going to make some more videos for first-time gun buyers.